Hey there, AfterBuzzers, and you're watching the AfterBuzz TV After Show for Black Sails Season 4, Episode 10. That's right, the series finale. Stay tuned as we give you our thoughts and overall feelings about the show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Woo. All right, guys.
Yeah, you're seeing clearly.
Yeah, before we dive into anything, that's right, y'all. We've got a very, very special guest here tonight, Jessica Parker Kennedy, a.k.a. Max, joining us in the studio to talk about the finale, you guys. Yay. Super pumped to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for asking me to come back.
Of course. We always love having you in here, and I'm sure everybody in the chat is super pumped about this.
Going crazy.
Yes, they are. There's a lot of cheering. A lot of cheering.
Yay!
Yay. We already have a request for your French accent on the show, all that stuff. Okay, guys, I know we're super excited, and, you know, it's a little bittersweet, of course, because this is the last after show, the last time we heard the theme song for like a split second there. Jeez.
It's so sad.
We always talk about how we want to make like a mixtape for a workout playlist to Black Sails, to the soundtrack of Black Sails. Imagine that, like lifting weights.
It's like very badass. Yeah, definitely. I feel like the Hells Angels should be lifting weights to the Black Sails theme.
Oh yeah, and you are a badass pirate. You already like have been like sworn in as that, so you're forever badass.
Right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah.
I love it. And Bear McCreary does such a good job. Like any show.
Oh, he's crazy talented. He's just doing all of the TV shows.
All of them.
All of them.
Everyone is yours. Take it.
Crazy talented guy.
All right, you guys, we have the chat up, and you guys are talking up a storm. I love it, and we'll be sharing all your comments and everything, so keep on talking. And you guys know who I am, Lauren Salaun. You can find me everywhere online at Lauren Salaun. And our special guest, Jessica, where can everybody find you online?
Sometimes you can find me online at jparkerk3 on Instagram and jparkerk on Twitter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Nadine.
Yeah, I also have a 3 in my name. You can find me at Nadine DP and the number 3.
Okay, cool.
My lucky number.
Told someone that I was J Parker K3 on Instagram the other day, and they laughed at me.
Why?
They were like, 3? That's so funny.
No.
I don't know.
Oh no, I'm all about that 3.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's not like official enough.
I know. I think that's what it was,
Like,
because
it's
it
my
wasn't
favorite
official
number.
enough. And I was like, well, and I think at the time J Parker K was just taken because I got it a really long time ago.
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens,
It
and I
happens.
didn't change it. I didn't want to confuse anybody. So.
Yeah, numbers are cool, guys. Okay.
Numbers are cool. And I was
Numbers
born
are
on the 3rd, and 3 is my favorite number, too.
I was born on the 3rd.
Oh
What
my-
month?
Weird. October.
July.
Oh,
Close.
man. I
Same,
really
same.
wanted us
It's
to be on the
fine.
same birthday. So, yeah, it's at J Parker K3, okay?
Yeah.
That's what it's
Guys, go find her. And-
Get it, okay?
And don't say anything about the 3, okay?
Yeah.
Follow,
better not.
like, all that.
Awesome. So we are talking the entire series finale, and I want to get some kind of initial reactions to just the episode as a whole. Nadine, how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I was surprisingly really content with it. I was very happy with the way it ended. We have had these crazy predictions, like a lot of crazy predictions for what's to come on this final island and this final journey and who's going to survive, who's going to die. We had the whole prediction that Rackham was just going to never make it to the island and get lost at sea, and I like almost cried thinking of it. I couldn't handle that. So I was very happy with the way this all, connected together.
I'm so
weaved
glad.
together.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest thing when we were talking with the writers is that there's a sense of closure, and we wanted the audience to have closure. I'm saying we, like I was a part of writing it, but I mean, we, just being a part of it, we wanted the audience to get that closure.
Yeah.
We didn't want it to be like some crazy bad breakup where it all just came to an end and the audience was left going like, wait, what's going on?
I wouldn't have been able to handle that.
Yeah,
And see, we've seen from past finales, just like season finales, a lot of really heartbreaking things, and saw some, heartbreak this season for sure. And so I think we were both, Nadine and I were both preparing ourselves for some big tears and stressful moments, and thinking that we would definitely see one of our main characters go. And so it was a very happy ending. I think it felt very good, and at the same time left things kind of open-ended enough to obviously lead right into Treasure Island, but potential, you get the idea of like spin-offs.
Spin-off or movie
in your mind.
or,
Right.
Who knows what's going to come of it. How was it for you, though, being a part of when you read that final script? Were you content with that as an actor? Or?
Well, when I read it, I went, oh, Flint's alive. And then I read it again, and I went, oh. oh, I get it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right. So, I mean, I think it's really, you could say it's open to interpretation if you wanted. You know, the way I read it for me is that, you know, Flint goes to puppy heaven and gets to run in the field.
Yeah.
With his, you know, with his other puppy friends.
Such a good,
Puppy heaven.
Yeah.
perfect explanation. of
Yeah,
puppy
you know,
heaven.
and so I think it's really beautiful how much the time they spent developing that in the last moments of the show to really show what that could have been like, or a concept of what, you know, that kind of dreamlike state of where he could be, and where maybe in a way in his heart he is there. And yeah, it's kind of, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it,
you
actually.
are.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sweet. I love it.
Yeah, so I loved the end of the show. I think it's great, and yeah, I feel a sense of closure, and which is a fantastic thing.
Right. Yeah. And speaking about the Flint situation too, specifically, I was reading some interviews from the show creators and everything, and they were saying, you know, historically, like in Treasure Island, it's really mysterious about how he died, and there's some suggestion that it was a really sad death and lonely and everything. And so it is nice to kind of put this idea out there that, like, oh, maybe this happened though instead, and then, or not instead, but before all that happened.
Sure.
You know, it lets us think that
Absolutely.
could have happened, which I think, you know, we love Flint so much that the idea of him dying in this episode, which we had definitely discussed and thought was for sure going to happen, that was almost like the right thing to happen at the end of this show, just because with Silver kind of becoming the big pirate power there, and the passing of the baton, all that stuff. But I was really happy with it. My heart didn't break.
Okay, good.
They still left us with a lot of mystery, as
Yeah.
Black Sails always does,
Yeah.
even at the end. It's, you know, it's however you want to take it. I loved it, though. I really, really loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it was also crazy, though, at the same token.
It was. So let's dive into the episode a little bit more. We had obviously a lot of Flint and Silver moments, and we saw both with Flint and Silver's interactions, and then even with Maddie and Billy, you know, these situations where you're thinking, okay, one of these two people is not gonna make it out of this meeting alive. And you know, we know, like, with a lot of TV shows, if you don't see the actual body, like, you don't know if they're for sure
Alive or
dead,
dead,
you know? And so we have a lot of this back and forth with Flint and Silver that was really, I've loved seeing their relationship grow over the years, and especially this season, because they've had some betrayals, and ultimately, which even we saw this week, you know, their bond and that friendship and that relationship won overall.
Yeah, it's very real and very true in a big way. And yeah, which is, I think, what is kind of gut-wrenching about that ending, you know, because it's sort of like, I love you, but I have to do this. And I weirdly have to do this for us in a way, which is kind of strangely confusing, but also very right for the two of them at the end. But really in a lot of ways, because Silver in season 1 is just like a different person compared to season 4, like a completely different person. So he really rises to kind of Flint's power and level of intensity, you know, and they're very much rival each other, you know, and it's good that they became friends. It's a really it's really kind of interesting, beautiful friendship.
Yeah, and it's right too, because Silver, when he was talking to Maddie at the end, he even said that he learned a lot and took a lot of who Flint was, and he created himself and molded himself into this new person that we didn't see when we initially met him.
Yeah, he never would have become like that without Flint. Never,
exactly.
ever.
And so I have to believe that Puppy Heaven is actually, like, it's real, that he actually went there, you know, and found his happiness, because I can't think any other way, or like,
Right.
I'm gonna cry thinking of it. I get too emotional right now. I'm a Cancer. Okay, leave me alone.
At the same time, when we're watching that episode or that moment, and they, you know, have this big embrace and the kiss and stuff, I'm like, how would everyone
wouldn't
else
allow
have felt
that.
about that situation going on back then? Probably not cool, but you know, they're in like this like prison.
But I also thought too, like, if it was, I was like kind of believing that it was true, because if it was like this whole dream like state of like his own heaven, would he really go there in handcuffs and stuff, or would he kind of just like walk in and just be free and find his love, and you know? not being there in shackles.
It's interesting to think about this sort of, because all those pirates on those ships for all those months, all those boys together. You know that
They
sort
had
of thing
some
was
fun.
happening all
Yeah,
the time.
of
So
course.
it's like, I think there's an element of acceptance, but certainly, on a plantation like that, I don't know, maybe it's different. But it's puppy heaven, and anybody can do whatever they want in puppy heaven, and you don't get judged there.
Man, puppy heaven sounds magical. Puppy heaven is kind of great.
Just fields.
Yeah, just fields of it all.
Awesome. I did really love Silver talking to him, saying, when Maddie was gone, that he finally saw the world through Flint's eyes and understood why he'd been angry and ultimately, killed McGraw like way back when, and why he is the person that he is now. That was such an eye-opening thing for him to see, and gosh, I loved their bromance.
Their bromance.
It was very strong. It was very strong bromance.
Very strong, and so it ended happy in my mind, and that's all that matters.
The chat is.
I know. I feel like I just ruined you. When I did a little bit. Sorry. I know.
Oh, no. I know the chat's not really being favorable to our ideas that maybe that could have really happened.
Oh, it's not. It's
If
interesting.
someone say, yeah, you can believe that if you choose to believe the sky is red.
I believe the sky is red and pink and blue and orange and all the colors.
You know what though? My mom actually called me this morning and she was reading a review, and the review was like, "Isn't it great that Flint's alive and everything is fine?" Like the review was fully went that direction, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And I think for me, when I watched the show as an audience member, the reason why I was like, oh, what is the moment? It's so smart. John does it. So that moment when Silver is pointing that gun towards him, and you're like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And it cuts. And when you see it cut, the first thing you hear is the birds go, burr, 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 burr. When like a loud bang happens, birds fly away. So the birds fly, and all three of them that are waiting,
they start walking.
They go.
Yeah.
They all look. So at the exact same time that the birds fly, they all go like that. So they hear it. They hear
killing
it.
me, girl. You're
Guys,
killing
they
me.
hear it. It's there. I'm not giving away secrets. It's all there. You
Agree to disagree. Maybe
I did
a
see
little
them
bit.
walk and stuff. No.
Yeah. It's that moment. The birds, and they turn like they've heard something, and then they all kind of look at each other and they're like, "It's happened."
It all
And then
makes
they
sense
go.
now. It does. And when Silver was talking with Maddie, and Silver was basically saying like he basically freed him in the only way he knew how to free him and stuff, and just kill him
because he never would be free. He'll never be free as long as he's alive.
You still aren't believing. You're
don't
so
know.
heartbroken right now. You love Flint.
I love Flint too. Like it's an awful feeling,
of
you know.
course,
Like it's a terrible. Yeah, I love all the characters though. In a way, like even with Woods Rogers, like the way that, and I was just like, no, even though he's horrible, I still felt bad,
I did
you know.
too, which is such a testament to the writers and the actors portraying all these roles, because they're so, your characters are so complex, you know, and you can hate somebody in one moment. I mean, there are plenty of characters we hated the entire time they were on screen, but you can, totally disagree with somebody and think they're just the worst, and then also have sympathy.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really, it's smart writing when a writer can do that, and you go like, they're so bad, but I love them.
Yeah.
You know?
And the fact that Rackham, he looks at Rogers and he's like, no one's going to get under the boat today. And I thought of Blackbeard, and I was just like, almost got like, she had the hots for Blackbeard. Can we talk about that?
Oh my God,
she
did
has
you?
this like
Leave me alone.
really
Okay,
deep hot.
So the alpha male is
He was just
your
so
vibe.
badass.
He was really
I think
badass.
she also loved Vane a lot too, so he was
very-
big Vane.
I cried when both of them died.
Yeah, they
multiple
were very
times.
much. That's interesting because they were both very much like the alpha males of the show. You know, they really
That's your
are.
type, girl.
Yeah.
You are. You are
Jeez.
totally.
Yeah. But
being
alpha
played
males
over.
can be very like puppy dogs at the same time too. You know, I just compare everything to puppy dogs. So it's
Yeah,
just the way-
everything's a
puppy
puppy
it's the way
dog.
I go
That's
through
what
my
we're going
life.
with today.
It's the way I deal with being an adult.
Puppy dog.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that. It's gonna make me happier.
Well, and that moment with Rackham and Woods, I loved that. Because Rackham's not necessarily known for his physical talents and
Really?
sword fighting.
No idea.
No one noticed that.
So I liked having him and Flint team up against Woods, and seeing that straight up battle going down, and then how civil he was to him in a sense. He was gonna go by the book and do it the right way to get his revenge on him, but love that like our unruly like wild pirates decided to take the upper hand and not torture him.
Which is so not what I thought was going to happen at all. I thought it was just going to be this huge bloodbath, and then I saw them all in shackles. I was like, whoa, you guys want order. But I mean, Rackham did come back from Philly with hopes to, you know, kind of restore Nassau, not from in this pirate sense that they've created it, but in an order that is right for all of them. So he did stick to his word for that, I guess.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I feel like Rackham kind of changed over the years with sort of what went on with Bonnie and Max and stuff. Like he's always had edge, but the edge that he had is this like vicious killer. Kind of like it was there, but not in the same way, you know. So it's actually really nice to see him. You know, like I mean, when I say vicious killer, it's not not physically, maybe, but you know that you know he's seen some dark stuff and it's never bugged him before, you know. And I think a little bit of it starts to like get to him a little bit, you know.
And speaking of like the three of you guys, that you know, one of the last scenes of Anne and Rackham hugging, and then all of a sudden you pop out, Max comes out, and it was just like. Was it heartbreak? I don't know how to take that. If it's either heartbreaking or it's okay, or are they all back in this like this kind of?
I think that was
like, was that the end of it?
Last episode and this episode, it kind of sums up that storyline with them, because also they leave. Max stays, and
but at the same time, I think we're all kind of working together, but working together in a different way. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Like those two have a bond that is deeply unbreakable, and Max could get in there and she gets to have sex and with her, and you know that's a whole thing, and that's that, and they have their own bond between them, but there's something that Rackham and her have that is like deeper than that. Whether they get married and have lots of babies, I mean, we know it didn't happen that way, but like they're soulmates on another level that I'm not entirely, I don't know if Max and Anne are soulmates or just people that care deeply
about
for each other. Because the way that they hug and came together was like this, you see it, and it's real, it feels visceral, and those two are so close in real life as well. That was such an easy thing, I think, for them to play, and for me to look at and go like, oh wow, I want to be part of that, oh okay, you know.
It was hard, but I felt in seeing your reaction, your face, it was like you got it, kind of. It was like a it's sad, but you're also like, I respect you. And then at the end, and then at the end when Rackham's at the bar and he's like telling his whole story, and he looks up and he sees Max, and they like kind of give this nod to each other, like,
and they're content.
Like
it's like
we're all happy, we're all good, you know. So it was. I'm happy
it felt
there's
like
kind of happy.
the right ending with that kind of trio.
Agree.
The triad, we call it.
It worked it out. I know. Love triangles don't always end happy, but that one ended great.
For now, until
for now.
Well, it becomes
the spin-off.
I know.
Possible.
So the secret 5th season.
Triple again. The chat's going.
What are they saying? What are they saying to us?
What are they saying?
Oh, they're talking a little bit about. They're talking about Mary Reed.
Oh,
now,
the ending.
A little bit.
With Mary Reed.
Which I guess we'll just dive in. We're just gonna jump around a little.
We all know what happened. We're not spoiling anything.
No,
guys,
of course.
Yeah. So obviously we get an introduction with Mary Reed coming into the mix, who is a historical character, as we know, and she and Anne did end up having a relationship together. So there is like a legitimate, you know. The triad.
Is it going to go again on
a new
sale?
Love triangle?
Yeah, a new love triangle. And
Rackham just can't catch a break.
Right? Poor Rackham.
Though I was reading that in historic times, like he was upset about it until he found out she was a woman. And then he was like, oh, okay, well.
And then he was like, and I'll maybe be a part of this as well.
How does he not know she's a woman? Like, I knew that straight up.
First word.
You're a woman.
It's because he's a guy.
Because he's a guy, and back then,
the guys just don't know.
Yeah. Just
some of them do. No offense.
Just
but,
dudes.
Women have the intuition.
Right.
Yeah.
So that moment and that kind of direction made me feel, inklings of a spinoff, because we know the ending for Jack, ultimately, and what happened there. Not totally sure about what happened with Anne, but it did open up the possibility of, spin-off stuff, or even just imagining, like, that adventure. Because we see on NASA, like, no more piracy, we're doing things the right way, like, or really legally, but still our way. And yet we've got Anne and Jack setting off to still adventure, and still adding to the crew.
Go sail.
That was really fun.
And who knows, Billy could still be alive. We see Billy, you know, walking out of the ocean.
Yeah.
I was like, he had to. Like, thank God they showed that, because I was gonna say we just see him fall into the water. Yeah. And our pirates have survived much worse than just a push into the water, basically.
It's not Billy's third fake death on the show.
Like, I'm sorry, he just needs to go. Like, I was kind of upset that he survived.
No, see.
Nah, I'm over Billy.
Billy's been frustrating this season because he has betrayed our beloved pirates, but I didn't want him to die, because I felt like he was doing it for the reasons that he felt were legitimate, and he got screwed over plenty of times himself. So
they all tried to kill him.
I feel like in that scene where he has the knife to Maudie's throat, like you're like, oh, they broke Billy, like they broke him, like because he's like lost a little.
But did they break him, or did he break himself? He did that himself by trying to split up Flint and Silver. He created the whole Long John Silver story, like. He did that to himself, and that was kind of what Silver was saying in his whole monologue at the end, you know, that...
Those who believe it the most.
Exactly.
Ruined by it.
Ruined. Oh, great line. Oh, so brilliant. You see really Billy come out and alone. It's like, you're going to die on that island, Billy.
And you're so...
Yeah, you're going to be
so happy about it.
Yeah, we've gone through our ups and downs with these characters so deep.
I know. Yeah. Who is some of your favorite?
Yeah.
Like, who were you most excited to see leave the show from a character standpoint?
Yeah, not
because
as a person.
Anytime you're working on a show, you know, it's always a sad thing to have somebody leave and not be working with them anymore. But character-wise, who were you like, okay, that felt good
for the story?
Yeah.
I think when I first heard that Eleanor was leaving, I thought it's time. And then when I watched it, I bawled my eyes out, and Hannah was so brilliant, and she fought so hard, and thinking about a female in that position, fighting for her life, trying not to be raped and killed, I like all of the reasons of me saying it was time for Eleanor to be gone came like rushing back, and I was like, fight, bitch, fight, fight for your life. And so no one, like I thought it was her, and then I was like, no, not like that, not like that, not like that. You know, and that was real. I was like, I was bawling.
I agree with that so much, because Eleanor's been one of my least favorite characters the whole show, which I feel bad saying, because she was such a powerful female character, and like
but she made
at that time, but she's
flawed, like you know, like all of us were.
Impulsive and
sure.
You know.
We also always had a Max versus Eleanor type thing, and we always chose Max over Eleanor, and so that's why we're like. Bye.
Yeah, but I felt that too. Like,
so
finally, Eleanor's going. But same thing. Watching it, I'm like,
oh yeah, you're like, I don't want it. And again, it's such a smart move on the writer's part, because I think a lot of people felt that way. And then they were like, yeah, but watch how we're gonna have her go, and then you're gonna feel horrible about yourselves afterwards. Except for you, I can tell you don't feel horrible, but everyone else.
I'm pro Max. That's why I was like, you hurt my girl,
and
like,
I'm grateful.
You cannot. See, I stick to it. All right, I had your back the whole time. That's what it was. But yeah, I mean, we see Eleanor come back. We talked about this last episode when she was coming back in Roger's dreams, and or dreams are his like visions, I guess. But she's sitting there and she's knitting the whole time, and we were having this like chat about like, is that how he saw her, as kind of like this housewife and not this woman in power, or you know, or what? Why is it that? And some other people were saying because it was the sound. She was pregnant, and so she became motherly when she passed.
Absolutely. But and it was sort of something that, I mean, she wasn't, you know, in that scene in the beginning of season 4. You know, she's doing, I forget what it's called, with the needle point. You know, and that was sort of, and you know, and Max's character is sitting there going like, stop that, you know, because it's so unlike Eleanor. So maybe it was just it's what she, I mean, not necessarily was becoming, but the part that she was playing, you know, for him.
And she chose, you know, him and love and over her family and stuff over other things. So it's that like haunting reminder.
Absolutely. It's so sad what happened between the two of them, because you're like, you're watching and you're like, they might be okay. Like they really love each other, and just is like ends badly for them, badly.
We realized the whole theme of this entire season was that love equals death, basically, or like love is just the worst thing that could happen to almost every character we've seen. It's
was
like
the worst thing they could.
It really was though. Like love between Flint and Silver, I'm now realizing means puppy heaven. You know, like it's in many cases it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff is heartbreaking.
There's a lot of heartbreak in that,
because of love. So
Agreed,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm rethinking love now, guys. All right, I'm taking this out into the real world. I rethink things.
Black Sails just ruined everyone's
Black
life.
Sails. No, but I love it. So I'm gonna miss it so much.
Let's talk a little bit about Maddie and her character, and then let's focus like all on Max and you.
Let's do it.
But I thought she was such a strong character to have, you know, a newer character for us, but so strong. And I at times felt like her, you know, sticking with the plan that they had, like sometimes was a little stubborn. Like she was so unwavering, that which was great on the one hand, but sometimes a little tough to deal with on the other. I did especially love how she and Flint had that bond and were very similar in a lot of ways, and how he called, you know, when he was talking to Silver, like, oh, you think you're going to be able to come up with a lie that she'll believe? Like, no matter, like, if you do this to save her, like, that's not going to matter.
She's not going to forgive
gonna
you.
Peace out. And in both of their meetings, you know, the two we saw, it does not go well, you know? And I like Silver saying, well, the fact that you're pissed about this, I'm going to be happy about that because you're alive to be pissed about it.
Yeah, it's like the best way he could look at the situation.
Yeah, I'm going to spin this.
Glass is half full, in my eyes, yes.
Regretting and not regretting at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that character she's extraordinary, and Zaytu, who plays her, is an incredible woman, and it was just awesome to have like super strong female character, black female character, like come in and like slay,
take over,
and when Mari says this is what we're doing, this is what we are doing, and it's the end of this, you know, that's the end. She's extraordinary.
Yeah, and that's something I think, comparing her to Eleanor, even, that when she led very with a lot of certainty and would think through the situations and make a decision and stick with it, whereas Eleanor, we often felt, was really impulsive and would like it was just like do dumb stuff all the time.
She was distracted by the penis.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
And not even just the penis.
A million other things.
Yeah. not just that.
Yeah, no.
And so I liked that about her a lot. She was very certain with her leadership. And some of the guys in the chat are saying they wish they had left it more open-ended, you know, about her taking him back. But I guess at the same time, we don't see the conversation that took place.
But we know.
I mean, we know.
And it's at the same spot where Flint taught him how to fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that whole moment when Silver's like, you're basically teaching me how to fight, like beat you. And then he's standing there because he beat him. It's just, it's way too much.
Yeah.
It's kind
it makes me
these
so
writers
happy
are
that you
so
like it.
incredible.
So
like, I can't with these writers. It's just like brilliant. Oh, man.
They are.
Very, very good.
In that same spot. I mean, I get why you want it to be more open-ended, but I think we have a lot of other open-ended things, like, let's just go on the whole Rackham train. That's better for me to leave open-ended.
Exactly. It's like that part of the story came to an end, but there's so many other things that could have kept going. Really, we could very well have had a season 5. You know, there were more stories to tell.
I wish you guys had a season 15. Like, let me tell you, like, love this show. You guys are so brilliant.
I think, you know, by the time all of us going back to South Africa and like how many, you know, there was going to start, divorces were going to start happening between producers and ADs and stuff because everyone was just away from their families for so long. It was like, we can't have any
How long
more.
were you guys filming for?
We shot for 6 months every year.
Okay.
Which isn't horrendous. It's just that it's a 24-hour flight. And it's like everyone in all of the producers' wives like got pregnant during that, and like our actors' wives and girlfriends got pregnant during. So it was just a lot of time away. People were trying to create families, and we were just so incredibly far away. It was really, really hard. So a lot of our ADs moved their kids and out to Africa, and their kids went to school there and everything.
Oh, wow. That's an experience.
Yeah.
That's a
It
fun
was very
summer.
cool, and some of the actors had their kids do that too. So
Yeah, 6 months is a long time.
It's a long time to be there.
Yeah.
To be that far away. And I mean, for like the Brits, it wasn't so bad because it's only a 10-hour, 9-hour flight for them. But for those of us that are living in the United States or living in Australia. I mean, it's like you could not get any farther away, and it's it's a very different way of living over there. So takes some getting used to.
Oh, I'm sure it's a journey there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really beautiful journey.
A beautiful journey, to say the least, as we've seen from all the shots that you guys have done.
It's incredible.
Well, in that sort of setting makes for a really tight experience with your cast and crew and everybody that's
I mean, we all lived in this
show.
it was a very big apartment complex, but we all lived in this apartment complex together, so we saw each other
like a
every
dorm.
day.
It was a dorm life.
It was like a really beautiful fancy dorm with pools and all these lovely things and a gym, but it was, we were very tight and we were family. I mean, we were really all each other knew and we were there, and that's 4 years is a long time to bond. I mean, we had all bonded by like the first few months. We were all inseparable, but it's definitely, I have to say, the first time in my entire life working on a show where I'm like, oh, I will know these people for forever. We will always see each other. We're still, when we're in the same cities, we always get together with each other, and it's nice to have that kind of bond and make those friends, and because actors are all crazy people and we kind of work well together.
I love it.
Yeah.
The only kind of hope for.
Yeah.
Since how was the last day of shooting? How was that for everyone? What was the mood?
It was
on
weird.
set?
I don't know, because we all had different last days,
Okay.
so it was sort of strange, and we were also tired by the end of. We were shooting like stuff from episode 1 on in the last couple of weeks, and episodes not literally, but all like older episodes. So we were really like lost and dazed and confused and tired and exhausted, and it was hot, and I had my last day and then found out, no, that's not actually your last day. We need to reshoot something.
Like,
so
bye everybody. Just kidding.
Exactly. So
horrible.
it was really chaotic, actually. So I don't even know what happened in the last day or what was going on. I had left already to come back here when they were still officially shooting last day stuff. But we had a lot. Yeah, it was definitely very strange to say goodbye to the entire South African crew. That was weird, because I was like, I probably won't see most of these people ever again, and they've been another kind of my family, and I've seen them every day for 4 years too, and it's just it's odd. It's so odd.
Yeah, and did you guys have like the same production crew, like mainly?
Yeah,
for
we had a
majority of
lot
the
of
time?
change-ups from 1 to 2, but then we had a lot of the same people. So, I mean, we really got to know them, and they're just super extraordinary, talented, cool people. And it's strange. I mean, the actor's life and people in the industry, I mean, our lives are very strange, because you make these families, and then it goes away, and then you make a new family, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
And it's just odd. It's an odd way to exist.
I can only imagine. Yeah, but it's it was very fortunate for you that you guys all really got along.
Thank
'Cause I
God.
feel like it's a rarity.
Thank
We hear
God.
all these horror stories.
Can you
of
imagine
that,
if we were all in South Africa
6
together and
months?
hating each other?
in an apartment complex with pools.
No, we really had no drama. People were like, what were the exciting, traumatic things that happened? And we were like, nothing. We got together for dinner last night.
I got sunburned.
Yeah, we had great talks about whatever. It was fine. We all watched a movie. Like, it was
So
really
horrible.
normal. It was very, it was.
God, that sounds so rough.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
I know. But that being said, we were all together, like, missing our families.
Of
So
course.
we had to make our own little family.
Yeah.
So it was, you have your ups and your downs.
Oh, I love that.
Such a cool
I love it.
experience.
Yeah.
You're all
I
like,
know.
I love that. It makes me so happy to hear.
So let's dive in and talk a little bit about Max. So
Yes.
obviously we touched on the Jack and Anne situation and kind of her, not distance, but that kind of being just the two of them right now, and they're on to a new adventure. I think there's always the possibility there. But so back when she was meeting with Mrs. Guthrie, there was the idea of like, oh, well, let's find someone to be governor that you can marry, and you can kind of pull the strings behind the scenes like I do here.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really an option, which we knew after it got proposed. And yet I think we always knew that Max was going to have some sort of big, important role in Nassau and wherever she went, which has been such a neat thing to watch her character develop in that way, and where she's come, and now she's the head of
The new
basically
Nassau.
new Nassau, and Featherstone of all people is governor, which I kind of love that. That's so
That's
random,
the
but
best
so
part
perfect.
about the last episode is like the cheering that goes on when Jack says our new governor, and you see him come out,
You're
and
like,
you're
huh?
like this was someone that was not supposed to have a reoccurring role on this show, who just came in, was so, probably as a day player, I can't remember if he had a couple episodes or whatever, but like was not supposed to stick around, was so bloody brilliant, and became the governor of Nassau because of it. Like, dirty, filthy pirate that just cusses all the time too. I mean, he was just, and again, like a phenomenal local South African actor, just like so brilliant. Yeah,
Brilliant.
So cool.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that about him. That's funny.
And, I mean, it was such a perfect thing too, because she doesn't have to play like the behind the snes role. You know, she gets to be her own powerful entity and have a say and have a lot of power and respect.
Totally. I mean, I think the choice she makes, I mean, it all kind of stems back for me to in season 1 when Eleanor betrayed Max in a way. I don't know if it wasn't necessarily a betrayal, but a breakup, you know, and gave up that love for Nassau, really. And that kind of all fell apart anyways. And I think Max realized, I can't give this up with Anne. Even if Anne doesn't ever come back to me, it's a sense of I can't let this go. I can't let go of this, and I'll do whatever I can to kind of make it work and make sure that I at least. Max wants to make sure that she can look herself in the mirror, you know. And I think if she had married, you know, a man and pulled the strings from behind, I don't think she could. She couldn't look at herself in the mirror, and she would know Anne would never respect her, and she couldn't deal with that, you know. It's very different than the choice that Eleanor made when they were put kind of in similar choices there, and I'm so happy the writers wrote it that way, because it worked out for her in the end, you know. It's about taking the risk, and she took the risk, and she said no, and it was better than it would have ever been if she had gone that way, you know. For her, it was better.
And completely. And for so much of the series, her power and you know, the strings she's able to pull have been through, in a sense, different relationships, whether and romantic relationships, whether it's with women, men, the brothel, like all that stuff. Not necessarily that those are romantic, but through sex and love. So I think it was really important for her to arrive at this place where it was just her, and she's like single, you know, and she's you know, become this
single and in power too.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like her saying no to that deal with Mrs. Guthrie, what, like I said, wasn't so she could get Anne back. It was really just so she could like get Anne's respect, you know, at the end of the day. And that's cool because she is. Yeah, she's single. She's on her own. Yeah. She's moving forward, and it's like, I don't know, it's hella Beyonce power stuff. It's pretty awesome.
I love it, and it makes me respect her. So, like, if we had seen her just marry a guy and be behind the scenes, I would have been like, really? After all of everything that just happened, like, do you want to lay out 4 seasons in front of your face, and this is what you did? So I feel like she had to go that route, or it would have been for nothing in a sense.
And in a way, she is kind of behind the scenes, but she's behind the scenes in a way that she can live with it.
In her own way.
In her own way, on her own terms.
Exactly.
And that's what's great.
And that's what matters, too, you know?
Absolutely.
She's living her own life, not being controlled. And I think the one of the greatest parts was when the meeting with Rackham and Max and Mrs. Guthrie was happening, and she was saying, like, before I discussed, like, my proposed governor, and Rackham was like,
governor? Yeah, he's like, huh? What's going on?
That was just the funniest moment of the entire episode.
A candidate? Who?
And I thought that you were going to nominate, Max was going to, you were going to nominate Rackham for that position. And I was like, no, Rackham can't. Like, he could. But I feel like so much more craziness would come from that. You need an outside party.
He's too narcissistic.
You need an outside party to like do the new Nassau. It's just going to come back to the old stuff.
Exactly.
But that moment there, it was just, it was one word by him that was just so comedic and so just.
He's the funniest. Like, he's crazy funny as that character. Oh my God. Thank God for him, because we did not have a lot of like comedic relief in that show. Rackham is.
It was perfect when it happened. Yeah, he was so perfect with that. Was it last week, I think, when the old guy who was, you know, who dies, the only one who knows how to get to Treasure Island, has a heart attack, and he's like, like the whole time you're like dying watching
like
that.
Murphy's Law right there.
Of course.
Oh.
No, he's brilliant with the tiniest little things that he does with his mouth and his smirk.
Yeah.
It's like no one in the whole world could have played that as good as Toby Schmitz. He was meant to play that part. It was so perfect for him, and thank God he was born, and because he's just a wonderful. He really, I just think he's so bloody brilliant.
And we see on that note with Jack a little bit wrapping up. his storyline, the creation of the flag,
I
which is
know.
a historic
Funny
thing, which is
too.
really cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And yet his like, this is going to be the most amazing thing in the world. And then like his disappointment yet again.
Yeah.
You know, just,
He's like,
it's fine. It's fine. Whatever.
all right,
Whatever.
just walks away.
Yeah.
Anne's like, why do we need a new one? It's because you have to
my
show power and
legacy.
importance.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't like it anymore.
Not at all anything he wanted.
So silly.
Oh.
So silly.
Goodness, what are they saying in that chat?
They're loving it. They're talk about Eleanor.
Yeah.
They're still talking about Max and the relationship aspect and things like that. But there's lots of love going on. Lots
I'm
of
glad they're
chatter.
chatting. It's
Yeah.
great. It's
Yes.
great. As long as people are talking about it,
Oh.
that says something for the show. So.
Oh yeah, we have the best fans on this show.
Yeah. You guys have
They're
lots
awesome.
of people chatting about it and stuff. So what was your most memorable part of the season? What was your favorite like episode or scene or that really helped develop Max for you or help you?
I like the scene when Rackham and I are on the beach and I haven't seen him in a really long time and and I just kind of directly address him and he's like, you're not going to say you're sorry. You're not going to say I betrayed you. I'm so sorry. I took everything from you. And then he just invites her on the boat anyways, you know, because it pinpoints that relationship and the fact that like I was talking with some other people the other day and we were saying, like if there was no stress and there was no like dealing with the war and dealing with whatever, like Max and Rackham would be like great friends.
Like homies.
They'd be homies.
Yes.
And that'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And in that moment you realize like, oh, he likes her.
Yeah.
He can yell at her and scream at her and be jealous of her. But at the end of the day, he's like, I like her and she's part of the family, so she has to come to that.
Yeah, it's
you know,
family.
He respects her.
He
Yeah.
respects her, and it's like because he could have easily just left her to perish there, and he's
or
like,
killed her.
exactly.
Yeah,
He could have
like,
killed her. It doesn't,
anything.
and he just couldn't, and it's that sort of soft. That's that soft part of Rackham that do you remember? I think it was season 2 or season 3 when he's running the brothel and that prostitute starts crying and he's like, "It's not going to affect me. It's not going to affect me. I won. It's not going to affect me." And then he gets affected by it.
He's affected by it.
Yeah, it
so
does. And it's funny. And that's what he's like. He's got this little soft spot, and it's sweet. So yeah, I loved shooting that.
Yeah. So how was it for you getting into the mind of Max and really developing that character? Has it obviously it's had to evolve as she's evolved throughout the seasons and stuff. But
Yeah,
what was that like? That initial
terrifying. Like
Yeah.
it was such a weird audition process in the first place where I really only had one audition that I put on tape. Then got a call to read in front of the producers. Read once. They gave me one of those frowny thumbs up that people do, and they're like,
Good.
All right.
yeah, it's okay. So I was like, well, I definitely didn't book that. And then got a call the next day. They were like, "Yep, no, you booked it. It's great. Like, let's start." And I was like, "But are you sure?" I didn't. Okay. And then just sort of had this massive production that I was going to be a part of and was in South Africa and looking at the scale of what it was going, oh my God, there's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And I really just stuck to the words and read what I read in the words, interpreted what I read in the words and just stayed really true to that. I tried not to overthink it too much or do too much research or because when I do that sort of thing, depending on the role, I can get very in my head about things and I lose the naturalism in it. So a lot of it, a lot of it was just, I kind of flew through myself into it and improvised what we were going to do and how it was going to go. And then slowly over time, I was like, oh, I know her. Oh, I know who she, oh, I know her. And I think in season 4, more than anything, she becomes a fully formed character. I can kind of predict what she might do or might say. I always say I wish I could call her and ask her for her advice because I think she's such a cool
I love
lady.
that. That's so special. I wish I could call her.
Yeah, I do. I
That's
really do.
so,
Yeah.
That's deep. That's some deep stuff right there. That's like puppy heaven right
She's
there.
like
That's real deep.
way smarter and way cooler than me.
Oh, no, you got it, girl. You're
but
good.
really, like, I just think she's clever and wonderful and tough, and I would love to.
Well, she'll always be a part of you.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got a couple minutes left here to kind of wrap up. You have a lot going on right now, or for 2017. Let's talk about some of your projects that you're working on. We've got Colony, I Love Beck and Lucy, tons of stuff. So
yeah, it was really crazy because as soon as I wrapped Black Sails, I went on to Colony, which was like totally different. It's like very futuristic and like the apocalypse is there, and I like had short curly hair on that, no makeup, and it was totally different. But it was another really tough character, so it was actually great because I kind of was able to dive into Max in that character as well, which was really helpful. had a couple things. I just got back from South by Southwest. I Love Becca and Lucy is a really great web series with Warner Brothers and Stage 13 about two weird girls in their 20s that are just trying to like live their lives, and this crazy weird neighbor played by Alexis Denisof, who I'm obsessed with because I'm a big Buffy fan, moves in next door and tries to, like, you know, as far as we're concerned, our lives are ruined, and it's just it's like a, you know, when you, it's coming of age, but like the later part of your life kind of a thing. It's really, really, really beautiful. It's just about girls being weird because we're all
being girls.
We're all
like,
weird. We all pick our noses. We all do dumb things, you know, and it's about girls being, you know, silly and not perfect all the time. And strange, and it's directed and created by Rachel Holder, who's just a brilliant new voice. I'm so excited to see more of what she does. And I did another really great indie called Gemini, which was really fun to do, directed by Aaron Katz with Lola Kirk and Zoe Kravitz. It went to South by, so it was really fun. It was my first time at the festival. It was great.
How was that?
Wild there.
It was nuts. I got a horrible cold the moment I got there, so it's all kind of a blur. Yeah. But it went really well. That's what I'm told.
They say it went well.
They say it went well. I don't know.
The cold medicine says otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember any interviews. I don't know what happened, but it went well. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's so exciting. You know, I mean, you know, we love you as Max, but love you in everything else you do.
It's fun for me to do. I mean,
transition.
Yeah, to transition. I really feel like that's something that I can do, is do really different things. Well, maybe not always well, but I try my best, and I like to do things that are totally incredibly different from each other, and it makes my job a lot more fun. Yeah. So Max was Max, and the other stuff that I've been doing is very not, you know, a lot of not Max stuff at all. New direction, which has been great.
Yeah, well, we love Max and everything you do in the future. I'm sure you're going to do amazing with, and we're so excited and so happy with what you did with this character and you know, this whole show in general. We just become such fans, and it wouldn't been possible without the writers, without you brilliant actors and stuff.
So glad you
enjoyed
it.
Really, thank you very much.
Thank you for watching it and just program and like hanging out and talking to the fans and everything. I mean, it's awesome. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're getting the boot.
We're getting the boot.
I think I've stretched my nods to the producers enough times. I'm like, I got it. I'm wrapping up. I swear, I'm wrapping up. But thank you so much again for coming in.
No, it's my pleasure.
Before we head out, tell us again where everyone can find you online or keep up with your stuff.
Yeah, keep up at J Parker K on Twitter and J Parker K3 on Instagram.
Awesome. And
the three.
Don't forget the three
girls.
Yeah,
right.
on Instagram.
The three girls.
On Instagram only.
Yeah, on Instagram only. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
You guys, make sure you all are subscribed here on YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Find all of our after shows as well on iTunes and leave us a review when you're in there. I'm Lauren Salaun. You can find me everywhere online at Lauren Salaun. And Nadine, how about you?
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at Nadine DP3. And thank you guys so much for sticking with us this long and you know, and for this amazing series. And thank you for coming in tonight. And it's been amazing. It's time to rewatch starting tomorrow.
Yep.
All right.
Awesome. Start over again.
All right.
Bye guys. Thank you so much.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.